Welcome to Realcomm Live. We're here at Cortec and Buildings AI, and with me is Marc Petock with Lynxspring. How are you doing, Marc?
I'm doing well, thank you. Delighted to be at another Cortec.
Yeah.
Fabulous event. Thank you guys for putting on yet another one.
Well, thank you. You have been a big supporter of Realcomm for many, many years, and we appreciate your support and your thought leadership and your active participation.
Thank you.
We couldn't do it without you.
Appreciate that very much.
So you and I have known each other for a very long time.
We have.
You've been in the industry for a long time. You've seen a lot of changes. What is what is your take on the industry right now? What's going on around digital transformation, coming out of the pandemic, and with the perspective of what it looks like going in? What are your thoughts?
Well, again, being in the industry for a long time, I'm saying this is the most transformative period I have seen over the last 25 years. Lots of things have contributed to it. Sure, coming post-pandemic is for sure digitalization, but the conversations mainly have changed because building owners and operators need to do additional things than just have a smart building. In other words, they're bringing in the operational side of it, but also the business side. And I think that's where the change that I'm seeing. And when I mean the business it is conversations around risk mitigation, around the value of a building, the value of the asset, resiliency, and in addition to, a lower operating costs, managing energy, meeting sustainability goals, et cetera. So that's where I see the biggest change right now.
Are we talking enough about the business side of technology, and are we focusing too much on the operational side and the business and the building model?
I think we're not talking enough about the business side because, again, as things change, the business side is becoming just as important as the technology side. The technology, as I look at it, is just an enabler. And it enables us to do things. It enables us to create outcomes. And I think the business side equals outcomes. And those outcomes need to be defined and identifiable for each particular building owner, operator, or REIT, whatever they are looking to do.
What do you think are the biggest drivers in the industry right now, and has that changed from, everything has changed since the pandemic, but have those drivers changed, or are they pretty much the same, it's just in a different way and because the behavior is different?
I think they very much have changed. Yes, there's some drivers that seem to go in and out of our industry, such as energy. How long and how many times do we talk about energy? It's in, it's out, et cetera, but energy now, sustainability. It's also that where I'm seeing it's the need set for all of these systems within these buildings that operate these buildings to do more. In other words, there's a lot more that needs to be done. It's also data. We cannot have a conversation today about data.
Right.
And then it's what I call the new metamorphosis. And what that is that's your traditional way you operate a building, your lighting, your air conditioning, your heating, your access control, et cetera. But now it's also bringing in OT and IT and what I call WP convergence. WP is the workplace convergence.
Okay.
That's all about the occupancy, the indoor air quality, the safety. All of that now has really given way to being part of the driving elements that are driving our buildings today.
And what do you think it is that owners are looking for? What do you think it is that is their primary objective in the digital transformation model?
I think resiliency is first and foremost. In other words, they've got to maintain their buildings the way that they need to be operated. So as an example is what I call active occupancy management. That is operating your building based on the real occupancy of that building at a given time. So for example, let's say you have a 20-story office building, and pre-pandemic it housed 500 people. And on any given day you had close to 500 people in the office coming in. Today that is unheard of. You don't have that today. So it's how many people, where are they at in the building, operating those systems and everything in a active occupancy management mode. The other is what I'm seeing is what I call adaptive reuse. In other words, we come from the old school of retrofits. That's taking an existing building and redoing it. I'm calling this adaptive reuse, where we're converting Class B office spaces to Class A. We're changing the way the building is set up, the way it's operated. And I would also say that we cannot have this discussion without ESG, sustainability and energy, and the regulatory and compliance directives that are starting to really take hold now, such as New York Local 97, Philadelphia has one, Boston has one, where buildings over a certain size need to meet certain sustainability, net zero goals and things like that.
Now, with Lynxspring, you guys operate in a number of different sectors.
We do.
Which is good, because the diversity of portfolios right now is really contributing to the longevity of real estate firms and how well they're doing, how
Correct.
successful they're doing, because the office market is so depressed. Are you seeing a shift in these other sectors from a Lynxspring perspective, or are you still focusing just as much effort in the office environment as you've ever done?
No, it's a dual answer, Lisa, in that yes, we're still concentrating in the office environment because again, things are changing, and owners, operators need to adjust accordingly. But then looking at, but you're not seeing so much new construction anymore. Again, it's that adaptive reuse. But you're looking at, for newer areas, industrial distribution. What I mean that is these big, humongous warehouses that we see being built everywhere. To have data centers, for example, Amazon has on the books right now roughly $87 billion, that's with a B, dollars worth of new data center construction. K through 12, our education area, and things like pharmaceuticals and bioscience, life sciences. So we're seeing that as other segments within the marketplace in addition to the commercial offices.
Okay. Let's talk about AI in the last couple of minutes. Where do you think AI is going? And AI is obviously dependent upon data.
Right.
So we're back to the data discussion
Exactly.
and the integrity of the data. But where do you think AI is playing? What are you guys doing with AI? What is your what are your thoughts about the whole big conversation?
Sure. Well, I'm glad we're having the conversation about AI. I think it's important. However, I believe, and I'll use an analogy, that where are we in a baseball game? We're just up at bat. We haven't even taken the first swing. And that one of the areas that I have concern about AI, I do believe it is going to contribute a lot of value and benefits to the built environment, absolutely. But my concern is, as we're looking at AI, are we doing enough to look at the legal ramifications, the business side, all these other things as we rush to market to think, oh, well, AI is the best thing, it's coming our next best thing.
Right.
But we've got to look at that, and because and we can't ignore the business side, and is AI trustworthy? That's the question that ultimately that I think we all collectively have to get together on.
Right. What do you think is going to happen with it? 2024, going into 2025, do you think things are going to settle out? Do you think some of these questions are going to be answered, or is it just, we're just going to have more questions?
I think we're going to have more questions because, again, I think there's a rush to go over the goal line, and we're not looking at all the plays that are necessary to get over that goal line. Again, I think, by 2026, 2027, I think we'll have some real good technology solution offerings that we can trust, that will deliver what they say they will, and we can trust.
Great. Well, we are out of time. It was great having you. Thank you so much. I knew it was going to happen. We were going to get into our conversation and going to run out of time.
Exactly.
So it was never a question about filling up the time slot. So it was really good having you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. And again, thank the Realcomm organization for everything you guys are doing. Great event again. And when is Realcomm IBCon? That's the big question. Minds want to know.
That's
we won't
right.
Tell.
Announcement will be coming soon.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.